Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for the sake of all those who founded this nation and dreamed of what America could someday be, and for the sake of all those since then who have died in darkness so America could walk in the light of freedom, it is so very important for those of us who are privileged to be members of this Congress to pause from time to time and remind ourselves of why we are really all here. Thomas Jefferson, whose words marked the beginning of this nation, said, quote, "The care of human life and its happiness, and not its destruction, is the chief and only object of good government." Unquote. The phrase in the Fifth Amendment capsulizes our entire Constitution. It says, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law." And the 14th Amendment says, "No state shall deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws." Mr. Speaker, protecting the lives of all Americans and their constitutional rights, especially those who cannot protect themselves, is why we are all here. And yet today, Mr. Speaker, a great shadow looms over America, because more than 18,000 very late-term abortions are occurring in America every year, placing the mothers at exponentially greater risk and subjecting their pain-capable unborn babies to torture and death without anesthesia or federal protection of any kind in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And it is the greatest human rights atrocity in the United States today. And almost every other civilized nation on this earth, Mr. Speaker, protects pain-capable unborn babies at this age. And every credible poll of the American people shows that they are overwhelmingly in favor of protecting them. And yet we've given these little babies less legal protection from unnecessary cruelty than the protection we've given farm animals under the Federal Humane Slaughter Act. Mr. Speaker, it seems we're never quite so eloquent as when we decry the crimes of past generations, and yet we often become staggering blind when it comes to facing and rejecting the worst of atrocities in our own time. It is a heartbreaking thought. But I would submit to you, Mr. Speaker, that the winds of change are indeed now beginning to blow, and that the tide of blindness and blood is finally turning in America. Because today, poised to pass the Unborn Child Protection Act in this chamber, the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act in this chamber. And Mr. Speaker, no matter how it is shouted down, or what distortions, deceptive what-ifs, distractions, diversions, gotchas, twisting of words, changing the subject, or blatant falsehoods the abortion industry hurls at this bill and its supporters, this bill is a deeply sincere effort, beginning at their 6th month of pregnancy, to protect both mothers and their little pain-capable unborn babies from the atrocity of late-term abortion on demand. And ultimately, it is one all humane Americans can support if they truly understand it for themselves. And Mr. Speaker, this is a vote all of us will remember the rest of our lives. And it will be considered in the annals of history, and I believe in the councils of eternity itself. And it shouldn't be such a hard vote. Protecting little pain-capable unborn children and their mothers is not a Republican issue or a Democrat issue. It is a test of our basic humanity and who we are as a human family. And it's time to open our eyes and allow our consciences to catch up with our technology. It's time for the members of the United States Congress to open our eyes and our souls to remember that protecting those who cannot protect themselves is why we are all here. It's time for all Americans, Mr. Speaker, to open our eyes and our hearts to the humanity of these little pain-capable unborn children of God and the inhumanity of what is being done to them. And with that, I yield back.